Today, we're going to make a duct tape container. For this project, you're going to need a roll of duct tape, and you're going to need to find a piece of a log about 4.5 inches in diameter. And so what you want to do is find one that doesn't have any bark on it and that is smooth, that is free of any kind of knots or lumps, any kind of bulges or limbs, maybe even broken off. Take your knife or saw and smooth that down. If you don't have a saw to make a smooth end cut, you can even break something off between two trees using the principle of leverage. And you can then make it on this end. We will show that to you here in just a moment. Stay tuned. So we take our duct tape and we peel off a piece. And again, we're just approximating how big around this is. And we want to go around it this way. And we want to put the sticky side out with the smooth side to the end. Start toward like that. Our next piece, again, we're just guessing, we're estimating. And you want to try, if you can, to make sure that your pieces not only overlap by about, maybe 1/4 inch, but also try to ensure that your duct tape joints don't land on the same side, because we're trying to keep this as waterproof as we can. So if you just tear these at random lengths, that's probably the safest and easiest way to do it. And that way you're pretty sure that you're not going to be landing on the exact same area twice. That, again, sticky side out. I like to go up 4 rows. Of course, trying to keep these as regular as possible. It's not always that easy when you're out in the bush, but practice, a little better at it. Alright, so there we've got our 4 rows up. Then we want to go for the bottom, and how we do that is we start, I like to start at one side and go like this and make sure that you have plenty of overlap on this area here, because again, we're forming the bottom of our container and we want it to be as watertight as possible. These pieces don't have to be super long, but again, we're just tearing it randomly. And make sure you overlap and then pat them down. This is, of course, important. The other thing you want to make sure that you are careful not to do when you're making this project is don't put your duct tape really tight around this log. You'll have a really difficult time getting it off. Alright, now we have our container, our first level finished, sticky side out. Now we want to go right back and we want to start again with the bottom, and we're going to overlap our seams, but this time we're putting the sticky side to the inside. Doing exactly the same thing. And you don't have to be super careful about this. The important thing, of course, is that you get things not super tight on your log here, but that you also overlap everything properly. Alright. Now what we want to do is tear a nice long piece, and we want to start here at the bottom, go close to the edge, but not all the way, obviously, where we would have an edge showing. Go around like this, and again, don't pull it really tight, but we want to make sure that we smooth all of this down and get all of our seams to hold. Next piece, do the very same thing. I'm going to go on up here, overlap, just like we did with the sticky side out, except this part, of course, is the sticky side in. And then for our very last one, we want to be very careful that we try to get as close as we can to our edge here. I'm going to try to match these top edges pretty close so we don't have anything sticky visible. And if you mess up on this, it's not really a big deal. Just tear another piece and continue. Of course, duct tape is very sticky and it will stick to itself, so you do want to watch that. Alright. Around like that and like that. Okay, now if you've done this right, you want to smooth it all down. Okay, make sure, again, the bottom, the seams, everything where it's lapped in is really tight. Okay, now, here we have our basic container done, but of course, we need a handle. So how do we do that? Well, let's just set this over here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to pull off a length, oh, I don't know, about as long as your arm. This takes just a little bit of practice. And you want to put the two corners together, like this. Put your two corners together. And then I found it works best if you put your finger in here and pinch it like this. Put those together. Come on down here, another 3 or 4 inches, pinch it together. Come on down, pinch it together again, and all the way down to the end. Then once you get that done like that, then just take your fingers and you can smooth it on down. And like I said, don't worry about getting it absolutely perfect. It is just a duct tape handle. Alright, now what we want to do is we want to take our container and we want to pull off another long roll of duct tape, enough to go all the way around the container we've just made. We want to start down just a little ways, like this, just a little bit below. You can see right in here, and try to get that somewhat straight. And we start with our duct tape right here. Make sure we get this nice and evened out. Alright, that's pretty good. Come around. Alright. And then what we're trying to do, of course, is come to the exact opposite side where our handle started. So about right in here. Come on around, trying to keep everything straight, which is a little difficult to do. But again, you can, because we're working with the sticky side to the inside, and it's very doable here. So you just come on around like this, tape that down, tear off what we don't need, and smooth it all down. And there we have our duct tape container. Of course, the real test of a duct tape container is, will it hold water? Now before you do this test, while everything is still dry, before you get it wet, put your hand inside like this and the other hand on the outside, and make sure that you press all of your joints together. Make sure the duct tape, top to bottom, all the way around, is firmly pressed in together, and do that several times. That will ensure that things are as tight as they can be. And let's see if it will hold water. All right, it's doing very well. And pretty much no drips. Wipe off the bottom there, and it's nearly full, as you can see. Our strap is holding fine. It doesn't seem to be giving at all. And we have a nice duct tape container now full of water we can carry back to camp. This could also be useful for collecting nuts and berries and any other wild edibles that you might encounter along the trail, not just water. And this is a great project for kids or for classes. All it requires is some duct tape and a log of the right diameter. I want to give a shout out to North Survival for the idea. This is a great concept and one that you will find useful in your bushcrafting. An extra container is always a good thing to have. This is how you can make one, and hopefully you already carry duct tape, so this would be a project for you to practice and do. And like we always say, you need to not just know the skills, you need to own the skills. You need to get out and do this and actually practice it so that you'll be able to make one quickly when needed, and make sure that it's waterproof, watertight. The other thing is, I mentioned earlier about on the log about not making it too tight. Well, there's kind of a happy medium. If it's too loose, a lot of times they'll leak. If it's too tight, you can't really pull it off. So you need to try to find a good medium tightness around that log as you're making your container, so that it will hold water, but at the same time so that it will still slide off. This is James Bender for Waypoint Survival. Please like, share, and subscribe, and we'll talk to you next time.